All right, we're going to start in a minute. Just checking the sound here. Last time was a little low. Let me know in the chat that you can hear well. Hi, Patricia. I hope you're hearing well. Sound is good. Nice. Thank you. All right. So I think we're going to give it another second and then we're going to jump right in. All right, friends. I see people are coming in. Good. From Hungary, from Germany. Thank you, Maria, for the sound check. All right, so today we're going to have a great session. Feels like it's been a long time. All right, sounds good. So let's go. Let's start. Let us go. We're starting. Hello everyone and welcome to Kabbalah Explained Simply. And today, Kabbalah Explained Simply, we're going to talk about, is meditation part of Kabbalah? My name is Leo. I'll be your instructor today. I'm a member of the instructor staff with Kabbalah. If you're not a member on Kabbalah, consider going to Kabbalah. There are some amazing courses there and an amazing community. Some of them are here with us today. So I can't stress how great it is for me as an instructor to meet so many amazing students. And I imagine it's the same for people who are seeking answers to the deepest questions of life. So go to Kabbalah Connect, try a course or two, sign up, become a member. It costs so little and you get so much. And let's go to our topic. So is meditation part of Kabbalah? This is an interesting question. We're going to meditate on it today. I hope you're going to get the answers that you want. I am, just for the record, I am also a certified yoga teacher, yoga instructor. Studied for many hours. I'm not practicing it now, but I have trained for many hours. If you're interested to know what kind of yoga, it was Nam yoga. It's an interesting yoga, you can read about it. But I've done this before I started to study Kabbalah, and I have over 1,000. I've meditated for over 1,000 consecutive days. So I'm not like an expert in meditation, but I have a grasp on certain techniques. I've used different modalities: sound meditation, meditation guided by sound, by breath, focus meditation, observational meditation, constructive meditation. Maybe there's some other names for it. There are a lot of gray areas. So I have some experience in it. It doesn't make me an expert, but I am here to talk about Kabbalah. Not so much about meditation, but about Kabbalah and how meditation fits, if it fits into the practice of Kabbalah. For those of you who are coming from yoga, meditation, and are starting on a spiritual path, and you're asking yourself, well, does that fit? Do I have to stop meditating altogether? Can I continue to meditate? Does it have any benefits, any value if I study Kabbalah? Those are some of the questions we're going to try to answer today. Of course, send in your questions. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can. And for those of you who are members of the grad environment, you will be invited to a private Zoom session after this hour where you can ask more questions. We can kind of delve maybe deeper into it. That's one of the benefits of being a member of the grad environment. So Wikipedia, if you ask Wikipedia what is meditation, they say it's a practice where an individual uses a technique such as mindfulness or focusing the mind on a particular object, thought, or activity to train attention and awareness and achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm and stable state. That's what Wikipedia says. It's nice there. You can read it. There's a lot of material on meditation. It has entered Western consciousness about 100, 150 years ago, and there's a lot of stuff that was written about it. There are different kinds of meditations, different types of meditative practices. Some just focus on, on an object. Some try to defocus altogether and kind of release the mind into the stream of thoughts and images and other ideas that come to it. There's constructive meditation where you try to kind of nurture, create new thought patterns and behaviors. There's all kinds of meditation. What's interesting is that meditation, maybe I'll move here. No, move here. There you go. It says here, hesychasm and Christianity on the right there. Sorry. Okay, try to focus here, the camera. That's terrific. Kill the camera focus. There it is, yeah. So meditation appears in many different religions and spiritual practices. It has different names. Like I said, it's not going to be an exhaustive study on meditation. You can read on it, but it's suffice to say that it's everywhere. You find it in in the East, in Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism, and the Near East, in Islam and Sufism and the Baha'i faith. In the far East, they find it in Taoism and Qigong and other derivatives of that. You find it in Christianity and the sort of the mystical sect of Christianity. They wrote about it extensively in the Philokalia, the love of beauty it's called. So people write about meditation, people practice meditation, but for some reason it's not part of what we do in Kabbalah. So is there a similar practice for Kabbalists? Good question. I'm sorry, you can't read here. Let's see, I don't have. Okay, I'll read it for you. So there is a concept in that you'll find if you read in Kabbalistic texts. It's called Hitbodedut or solitude. It appears in mostly Hasidic Kabbalah. You'll find it, but also before that, and it says. It turns out the solitude, Hitbodedut, and asceticism and adhesion were practiced by the adherents of Israel, or the Hasids of Israel, meaning when they are alone, they release from their consciousness the matters of the world and they connect their thoughts with the Lord of everything. And the Ari taught that it benefits the soul even more than the study, and according to one's ability, he should separate himself and go into solitude one day out of the week, or out of 2 weeks, or once a month, and no less than that. That's the Holy Shelah. Was also a Kabbalist, a sage. We sometimes read some of his texts. So that's Hitbodedut, solitude. Again, not an exclusively Kabbalistic or a Jewish practice. You find it also in Christianity. The monks also practice eremitism. They would go out into the deserts of Israel and Egypt and try to work in solitude. So you see there's a lot of exchange that was happening also of ideas in those times when Kabbalah spread out and informed Greek thought and then later on Christian thought. And so there was a lot of exchange that's happening. So it's no wonder that some of those concepts are shared across the different traditions. There's another concept that you find. It's called Hitbonenut, and that could be translated roughly as observation or contemplation. And we have a text here from Maimonides, who wrote in A Guide to the Perplexed. He lived in the 10th, 11th century in Spain as a doctor, also a Kabbalist. And he wrote, "The thing is not the same as you thought it to be in the beginning of the thought, but rather as it will be clarified with observing the thing." That's my mind. That's the Guide to the Perplexed. I bet it made you even more perplexed. But Baal Sulam writes that everything will be clarified in the thought. And this gives us a clue to the first maybe connection between these ideas of meditation and what does it mean to meditate on something in Kabbalah. It's the idea that the thought has the power to clarify, to scrutinize things, and we use that in Kabbalah. So, is meditation part of Kabbalah or not? Well, the answer is not quite. It's not a flat-out black or white answer, which is why I've used gray background here. It's not so simple because the definition of meditation varies across the different traditions, the disciplines and practices, and at the end of the day, it depends on your goal, on your intention. And herein lies the difference between just generally throwing the idea of meditation and actually trying to understand how it helps you attain your spiritual goal. So, what is the goal? Well, the wisdom of Kabbalah is no more and no less than a sequence of roots which hang down by way of cause and consequence, by fixed determined rules, interweaving to a single exalted goal described as the revelation of his godliness to his creatures in this world. Okay, that's Baal Sulam from the essence of the wisdom of Kabbalah. Not exactly a catchy definition, but you do meet it if you take our introductory courses. We refer to it because it is a very precise definition. It's a method, it's a system of laws, of rules, fixed, absolute rules that somehow connect us all the way from his godliness, the creator, whatever that is, all the way down to the creatures. Somehow there's a distance between them, and there's a system of rules that are all interweaved together towards this one exalted goal, which is to reveal the creator to the creature. There's no mention of meditation here. So what is actually this world and what is the spiritual world? Maybe that will give us a clue on what we need to do. And if meditation is supposed to help a person make contact with the creator, according to most traditions, or at least, and I'm talking about traditional meditation, not meditation that is used as a practice in business and health and well-being, the original practice of meditation. So if it's supposed to help us make contact with the creator, or at least reach the spiritual world, we need to define what is spirituality and who or what is the creator. So some of you know that, so don't spoil it for the rest of people here. What is happening here? So this very simplistic illustration hopefully will serve to give you some clue on that. I don't know if you see my cursor. You probably don't see my cursor, but I know there's a way to bring it. Okay, forget about it. You can see it. There's only 4 words on the page. So at the very top you have the creator. This is what Kabbalists call the will to bestow. Love, abundance. What does it want to bestow? Everything it has, all the good. You can imagine good, he wants to bestow that to you. And even if you can't imagine it, that's what he wants to give. That's what Kabbalists attained. Those who attained the creator, who came into contact with this quality, they write to us and they write that the creator is the quality of love and bestowal. It's just a giving stream, a giving potential, if you will, a force of good. And it operates on us through the spiritual world, world of oneness, wholeness. Again, those words have different meanings in different places, but they all essentially point to the same idea. The creator is one indivisible quality. It's one field, one quality of love. it's oneness. It's everything is included. There's nothing outside of it. So hence everything is one with it. However, he created this world. How did he create this world? By creating the will to receive, something that is opposite the creator, opposite the quality of giving, of bestowing. He created the quality that can receive it. Okay, that's the desire to receive pleasure. By creating it, the act of creation in Hebrew, bria, from the word bar, or outside of, that was the act of creation, that creating something that was somehow, impossibly, outside of the creator. How is it done? We don't know. We can't even imagine what it means. But the best example that I like to use is like an author or a playwright who comes up with a play and characters, and he kind of gives them their own life and their own reality and their own set of rules and a plot and an arc and actions and dialogue and everything, and they sort of seemingly work outside of the influence of the playwright. Once the play is up, although he conceived them and they are part of him, they are outside of him. But the difference is that they don't usually use the play in order to get in touch with the author or the director of the play. Rather, they just perform it. Here, this whole thing was created by this director in order for us to actually discover him, right? Discover the creator, reveal the spiritual world and the creator in it. So we exist in this world, the world of the will to receive, and we perceive it partly through our brain, which gives us the sensation of I, which in other words equals separation. My I-ness is opposite to this oneness. This is what this is about. Now, the interesting thing is that we didn't actually go anywhere. Everything still exists within the creator. He just created a space for us, and he created this experience for us. We experience everything inside our desire. So it seems as if there is a great big world outside of us with rocks and trees and animals and galaxies and the whole cosmos, but everything is still within our perception, is within our desire. If it wasn't within our desire, we wouldn't be able to perceive it, to feel it. It would be non-existent to us. So it doesn't matter what you see, what you perceive it in your desire to receive pleasure. This is a tough concept to sort of grasp right away. If you're just starting, just kind of bear with me. But we perceive it all in our egoistic desire, our egoistic nature. If we were to somehow detach from this egoistic nature, we would stop feeling this world. Which is interesting. I'll open a parenthesis here. People sometimes talk about out-of-body experience or near-death experience. Dr. Lightman has a very good article about it. I dare you to find it. It's buried somewhere in the archives. But it's a very good article about the time that he had a near-death experience after his accident many years ago, and he describes it. And indeed, many people describe this feeling of wholeness and calmness and kind of moving towards the light. Sometimes they talk about it. But what's happening here, first of all, it's not death, it's near death. So it means still alive. There's no in between, really. You're still alive. But there is a process of separation from the ego, which lets a person perceive some of it, just kind of get an outsider view of this oneness. Why? Because they separated from their ego, the mechanism of their separation. So back to our close parentheses here. So this world is really the picture that we perceive in our desire to enjoy. That's what it is. It is an outcome of a higher force, in reality, the creator, acting on our desire to receive pleasure. And all the changes and movements and thoughts and ideas and everything that we see seemingly outside of us takes place only in our desire. Nothing actually happens outside of us per se. There is no outside. It's a little bit like the matrix we talked about when I did Kabbalah Explained Simply on a simulation. It is a little bit like the matrix. You actually get an experience simulated in your head, and that's where everything takes place. And the spiritual world includes all of those impressions of reality. This is simply something that is part and parcel of our existence. It's all within us. There's nothing outside. There's no next world. There's nowhere to go per se. So how do we discover that spiritual world? We have to resemble that upper force. So the more I move from my sense of I, will to receive, egoism for myself, self-love, this direction, the more I change the direction outwardly towards others, towards someone else, doesn't matter who this other is, right? I become more like the Creator. Then according to a very famous law in physics, equivalence of form, I simply begin to experience, to perceive the spiritual world. Because the spiritual world is one of love and oneness. And I exist in a world of egoism and selfishness and pleasure for self and love for self. So this opposition creates that separation. This is kind of in a nutshell the system that we exist in. So the question comes, of course, to every reasonable person: if it's all inside of me, then isn't meditation the answer after all? Right? That's kind of like there's a twist here. So not quite. Why is it? Well, I was supposed to draw this, but I had the foresight that the drawing board would not work, so I actually made this drawing at home. So it's not as interactive, you'll forgive me, but it tells a story. So you see on the right here, it's me. This is I. Imagine I have a laser pointer and I'm pointing at this me here on the right. This is me. On the left is the others. Now, I'm not talking about just our world, what I feel outside of me. I'm talking specifically about others, other people in the system. Because even though the still vegetative and animate degrees in nature also exist within me and are also part of me, what we're interested in specifically is this other people, right? So the process that we're talking about is one where, although everything is inside of me, the reason I don't feel this oneness is because I exist in a broken reality, right? I see myself and there's me and other fragments of my soul. That was the process of the shattering. We're not going to get into it. It's called the shattering of the vessels, but that's this process really, a shattering of my perception of oneness, wholeness. That's what was shattered. Sometimes you hear about the falling of man. In Christianity, they talk about it, or the fall from grace, or other falls and other shatterings. They all refer back to the same principle that Kabbalah describes, which is the Creator created the one soul and then He shattered it. Why? Because you couldn't correct the one soul being as it is, filled with the light of Ein Sof, infinite light, infinite ego. Let's correct that. No, very difficult. So we need to break it into little pieces, and then you can start correcting each piece individually. And that's really what's happening here. Everyone here has his own or her own perception of his existence and his soul, and they correct that. But in truth is, it's really the one soul. We're all parts of the one soul. Now, the problem is I cannot correct all these fragments inside my head. If you tried to actually sit and meditate and try to poke around inside your head, you know, it's either very messy or abstract or non-linear. It's tough to work in that area. You need to spend hours just to get to a place where it's at least somewhat quiet, and even then, you're kind of still very much an observer. You can't really put the pieces back together. Whereas here, the Creator gave us actually all that we need in this world. He gave us all these broken parts of my soul. He painted them outside of me. He portrays them outside of me. So He kind of saved me the trouble of going into my head, and I can now go outside and deal with them and correct my relationship with them, my connection with them. And that's the problem, really. As long as I'm inside of myself, my head, I stay inside this little circle here on the right. This one. Yeah? Yeah. That's a circle. I stay right inside the circle. I stay inside my head, inside my feelings. I get a glimpse of this great world that, the spiritual world, the oneness of everything. But it doesn't let me in. I can't actually be part of it. I can't travel through these worlds of Asiya, Yetzirah, Bria, Tzilut, Adam Kadmon, because I'm stuck with my ego. It didn't actually let me rise above my ego and enter this world, actually use it to enter this world, as Kabbalah teaches. Meditation only lets me suppress it momentarily, temporarily, even for long extensions of time, but it's a suppression of the ego. And in Kabbalah, we need the ego. We need it because it's the matter of creation. It's what was created, the will to receive. The Creator wants to give you pleasure. It can't really give you pleasure if you're just a passive observer. You need to be an active participant. It's a little bit like a video game. I'm kind of like a video game geek also, was at least. And it's a little like a video game, right? You can be like I think okay, I'm going to, again, parentheses for video gamers out there. If you play the fighting game, almost any fighting game, if you don't do anything, the other guy can't hit you. Like every strike is blocked automatically. Sort of like if I'm not doing anything, but I'm also not playing the game. I'm observing all this action around me. I see this other guy trying to hit me. I see the world changing, the timer counting down perhaps, but I'm not actually part of the game. I need to act. Because that's what the game is about. And this is very similar here as well. I need to use my ego, and that's what Kabbalah teaches me what to do. And I need to practice it in connection with others. That's why in Kabbalah we talk about connection in the group. That's where we make efforts to reach equivalence of form in that group, right? So the upper force can then, through equivalence, begin to act on me. When I get into contact with it, I don't just observe it from the side as there's something whole and great and me, this nothing next to it, because it's true. I'm actually entering into a relationship with the upper force, and it changes me to become like it, like him. So that's the interesting thing about it, and that's why we always say that knowledge without feeling, if I just tell you about all these things, then it will remain a philosophy. That's why Kabbalists don't get along well with philosophers. They have great ideas, philosophers, but they don't feel any of those things. They talk a big talk, but they don't actually get to feel it. And we are feeling creatures. On the other end, you have a feeling without knowledge, and that's mysticism. That's typically relegated to mysticism. I hope I don't insult a whole group of people here. But it's sort of an incomplete attitude. Again, it's feeling without the knowledge and the direct connection with the system. So that's why Kabbalah combines the two things, the mind and the heart. And when we talk about meditation in Kabbalah, we talk about the creation of intentions. We talk about something practical. It's the difference between that and meditation is that I actually concentrate my inner efforts on connection with others to unite practically with the people who aspire for unity between us. This is Kabbalistic group, or a 10, sometimes, maybe you've heard that term before. And we want to reveal the power of love and unity, where in love and unity between me and other people. And that's why in Kabbalah, a person is not isolated. There may be moments of isolation, of introspection, of personal scrutiny, absolutely. I can tell you firsthand, there's a lot of that. Most of the time, you're on your own. You go through the day, you work, you're with your family, you actually come into contact with your friends for short periods of time throughout the day. But we seek that contact. We seek as much as possible to connect with it internally, even before the physical contact, or even without it. We seek that interruption, so to speak. We don't seek that calmness and I'm just gonna kind of let go and observe everything. No, I want to be part of everything, because that's where my future state lies. It's not in the animate degree, which is, by the way, connected to everything, but passively. rather in the speaking degree, the human, that the one who is similar to the Creator, Adam, Dome Labore, similar to the Creator. And it's interesting because in the Eastern methods, you can be meditating alone, you need no one else, or even if people gather together to meditate, they sit and they meditate on their own. There's no practical connection between them. Often I've met people who meditated for hours, and as soon as they came into contact with other people, they were at a loss. I'm not saying all people who meditate are terrible at social connections. I'm just saying that I saw that as well. And we are, in Kabbalah, we look for this opportunity to feel ourselves as one with all these other people, all these other fragments of my soul. And only under the condition that we achieve such unity, as one man in one heart, we say, everyone will lose their sense of self. That's when you actively lose that sense of self and you acquire a new sense, a broader sense, a sense of we, if you will, and where you become one with the help of this upper force. That's how we reveal the spiritual degree. And to do this, we must virtually cancel our egoism, not actually cancel our egoism. We don't focus on less fulfillment, less pleasure, less movement, or less breathing, or less of anything, rather on feeling more and more of this bubbling energy of the will to receive, of the ego. But I step on it in order to connect with the other friends, the other people in the group, nullifying myself, canceling my I, in order to accept, to relate to the friend. And in this way, my individuality disappears, and I acquire that state that sometimes you see people talk about, but you acquire it actively, and you don't disappear into it. You become one with it, and it's a different state altogether. And is this mysticism? No, absolutely no, because we calculate. Sorry, hold on. Let me bring in the next slide. We calculate exactly every step of the way. This is very scientific in that sense, because I can calculate how many of my desires for pleasure in myself I was able to step on, to put aside in favor of fulfilling the desire of the other. I can actually count it. I can actually measure my place in the system, and what level and how and to what extent and where's the next degree. And this is the work that I do in Kabbalah. It's extremely scientific, and it only becomes more precise as we go. I'll take a small break here to read some questions. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, Marcelo has a okay, he talks about a book. How do you okay, I'm sorry. How do you define mind inside Kabbalah? Okay, very good question. So the brain, this mush of neurons here, is, you can look at it as a sort of a transmitter. Consciousness doesn't actually exist in the brain. The brain is only a relay station. Okay, consciousness is something that's imparted from a general field of information, which is, or in other words, the will to receive. Okay, that's the only thing that was created, is the will to receive. Everything is felt in it. I feel a small portion of it, which I call my I. And the mind, the intellect, is something that developed as the will to receive grew and developed from rocks. It's hard to imagine rocks with consciousness and the desire, but let's say that there is. You can think about it. What is the desire of a rock, right? So from the desire on the still level of rocks and minerals to the desires of plants, to the desires of animals. So every level in nature seeks to reach a harmony, balance with nature, to fulfill itself and be part of nature. And the mind, and especially you see it in animals and later in mammals, primates, and eventually humans, the mind is an upshot of the desire to receive that pleasure. As soon as I want more pleasure, the mind then kicks into, okay, where can I get that pleasure from, right? Okay, we need to survive in the savannah. Okay, what do we need? We need to stand upright and kind of look for predators. Okay, good. The mind will help us do that. We need to maybe keep our temperature differently. We'll get some fur and do that. We need to get more energy, so we'll need to figure out a way to maybe cook the meat. All right, cooked meat is good. Okay, I'll figure out a way to make fire, and so on and so forth. Then why would I hunt and gather when I can just grow my stuff and raise animals? Let's do that. Maybe why should I do all the work? Maybe I should get someone else to do it. All right, let's conquer another group of humans and they'll do the work for me. And so on and so forth. Everything is a result of the desire for greater pleasure and a greater sense of harmony and balance with nature. Okay, that was that question. Does that mean we yield to the egoism of others? Well, the short answer is we intersect constantly. Meaning we live in a closed system where you use the others to fulfill yourself, they use you to fulfill them, vice versa, and the system is more or less balanced. In fact, up until very recently in our development, this whole process of slavery and exploitation and war and all kinds of seemingly terrible exploits of the ego were part of how the will to receive grew and learned itself and refined its ways of extracting pleasure from the environment, from people around them, and learned more and more about the connection with others. Right now we're still operating on egoistic connections, and we're trying to move towards altruistic connections. Rather, we're not trying. Kabbalists are trying to teach us about it. Most people don't want to listen to it, but that's a different point. So in Kabbalah, meditation, just to get back to our topic, meditation is often a mistranslation of a deep analysis, a scrutiny of one's intentions. Is my intention for myself? Am I joining this group now to get ahead in business and life, to do better, to get better at something, to get more money, to get more food, to find another wife, or become a celebrity, or start a pyramid scheme? Why am I spending time with these other like-minded people? Is it for myself, or is it to somehow acquire an opposite intention? An intention to bestow, to be like the Creator. Because by being like the Creator, I can begin to feel the Creator. By being closer to the oneness and wholeness of the spiritual world, I can enter the spiritual world. Very simple if you think about it. So, in a way, I think this is kind of like my summary, in a way. Well, almost a summary. Basically, you can boil down everything I said to the more or less following ideas. So meditation, when we talk about meditation as a practice, we're talking about a temporary suppression of the ego to get a sensation of the whole, or of wholeness. So, excuse my typo. You can achieve calm, concentration. You can de-stress. It's great for healing, contemplation, observation. There's a lot of great qualities that meditation brings to a person. Absolutely. I think that if you can meditate a little bit during the day, it's amazing. Get off the screen and do it. But if you seek to reach spirituality, to reach the worlds that Kabbalists describe, and be one with the Creator, then we're not. Then meditation takes a back seat to what you're trying to do. It becomes maybe a tool for some, maybe not at all for others. By the way, again, in parentheses, it has a lot to do with the temperament of a person. It was far easier for people to meditate 1,000 years ago. The human ego, was much smaller. I'm sure if you follow this series, you've learned about the evolution of desires. The human ego was smaller. You're actually able to kind of rein in the ego. A little less food, a little less water, a little less comfortable conditions, which were not that comfortable anyways, and more trying to connect with nature, and you're already halfway there. You can then use all the meditation techniques to achieve a sort of a state of oneness with nature. It wasn't so active, but it was something that at least gave you a direction. You could continue to work with it. And there's more work to do besides that, of course. But today, as our ego grows, I guarantee to you that it's nigh impossible to sit down and to meditate seriously. There are people who can do it. Their temperament is suitable for that. There are certain conditions that allow them to do it better than others. But for most people, it is a very difficult practice because the ego is not suitable for this kind of activity. The ego is already wired for that extreme connection that we're starting to feel in every area of life. And Kabbalah is a method for rising above the ego, not suppressing it, but actually rising it, keeping it intact, using the growing ego by correcting it, to giving it the right intention in order to attain that state of wholeness permanently. It's an active method. It's a networked method. It's about the connection with others. It's a participatory method. It's about becoming like the Creator, whole, purposeful. So, in conclusion, and then we'll take questions, a person needs to really choose what suits them, but if it's not working towards the unification of humanity, then it's probably not the right thing. That's the only thing I can say. Kabbalah is accepting each and every method. There's really many ways to unite mankind, and what's becoming clear is that we have to reach that state of wholeness. Scientists are talking about it. You don't need to meditate to feel it actually anymore. You used to really have to meditate a lot. Now you can watch a few clips and already kind of get the general idea. It's in the air. It's in the zeitgeist. We have to unite. We have to work together and rise above the ego, because it's consuming us. And we need to develop the human in us to do it, because this half human, half animal, egoistic creature, that was serving us up to a point. Nature allowed it while we're not so tightly interconnected. But as the cogwheels are coming together, you cannot move by yourself without already moving the entire system, and vice versa. So we need to start considering our connections with others. And any method that works towards that is a good method. Kabbalah uses that good force in nature to reach that state, and that's where its power lies. And meditation, it can be used as a tool. If it works for you, if you're used to meditating, by all means meditate. But remember, what is the goal? What is the method? How do you reach it? With what intention? I guess that's more or less what I wanted to say. And with that, questions. I wish there was a song to play, but let's see if there are some questions. Okay, I'm gonna drink some water. It makes a funny noise, like a dolphin. So, Sandra is asking, is meditation similar to prayer? Very good question, actually. Meditation is not similar to prayer in the sense that to pray in Hebrew, just like the words that you saw earlier, Hitbodedut, Hitbonenut, Hitbodedut, or to pray, hitpalel, this is a self-reflexive verb. So it actually means to judge oneself, to judge yourself, to look at your intention and your connection with others, and to ask for that which needs to be changed in that connection, to identify those broken qualities in your will to receive, how you relate to others, by exploiting them, by wanting to be better than them, higher than them, taking from them. All the places where you notice the shattering between you and others within the context of a Kabbalistic group, I have to say that. And the act of praying is the act of shedding light on that and inviting the upper force to work on it. It's work in the heart. It's not about kneeling down and saying nice words. It's about a feeling. Remember, we said it's a feeling. It's not the knowledge itself. Oh, I know I'm broken. Do you feel that you're broken? Do you feel that you don't want to connect with this person next to you? Was the same goals in life? Was a great person? You don't want to connect. You somehow wish they would disappear. This other person, fine. This one, no, I wish they disappeared. And I'll tell you a secret, the more you work in Kabbalah, the greater you discover, the greater the shattering or the ego that you discover. You really discover that it's called revelation of evil, right? We discover that we're not that great I'm not that great of a person, which is a good thing, because now I have a reason, I really feel it. So I have a reason to turn to the Creator from my heart. I don't need to sit and pray. He already feels it. I exist inside of him. But so by acquiring that sensation beyond any shade of a doubt, the upper force already begins to work on you. Why? Because you aspire to be somewhat like it. I want to be loving like you, but I can't. I'm not. Please correct that. Why do I want to be loving? Because of them. Because I want you to be revealed in them, and right now I don't wish that for them. Okay, so that's the meaning of prayer in Kabbalah, whereas meditation might be closer to an inner scrutiny. You can scrutinize something that happened in a relationship with others. You can kind of consider your desires throughout the day. How many times, instead of, for example, meditating on my breath or other elements of my body, which is yet a deeper, lower expression of my will to receive, I can meditate on the day. How many times was I connected to the Creator? How many times did I actually need the help of this upper force? Whatever it is, wherever it is. How many times did I actually need it? Meaning, how much effort did I put throughout the day to connect with my friends? Again, these might be advanced concepts for some of you, but for many of you, I know it's not. You've heard the introductory lessons. Some of you are in the grad environment. You know what I'm talking about. So this is something worthwhile meditating on, but as a sort of a direct comparison, they're not the same thing. What makes Kabbalistic meditation with other type? What makes Kabbalistic meditation with other type of meditation? Galaya, is this a translation? Maybe you can. I feel there's a good question there. Maybe you can rephrase it or make it more clear. We'll get back to it. Joseph is asking, only to create union between Creator and I, there is none else besides Him. Is that an egoistic intention? Well, the question is, why do you want to create this connection with the Creator? For whom? Who will benefit from that connection? And before you say, well, it's the Creator, Kabbalists immediately turn your attention to the other in front of you, your friends, the group, let's call it, okay, for lack of a more defined attribute. The group. The Creator wants to be revealed in the group. The Creator is what stands behind the group. If your attitude towards the group is different somehow than your attitude to this abstract Creator, then you're not connecting with the Creator or anything. You need to connect to Him through them. That's where the intention should be. And that's what the work in the group is all about. It's about understanding this, the right attitude and the right intention and the right principles of work in the group in order to reveal the Creator in it. Thai half full, I guess, is the full name. What does Kabbalah mean when using the word annulment? Okay, great question. Probably won't have time to get fully into it, but annulment is annulment. For now, think of it as making the friend or the friends higher than you, more important than you. Usually, I'm the most important. Okay, I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about me. What will I put in my body? What will I food I'll eat? What will I drink? How will I make more money? How will I get more famous? How will I get the love of my life? How will I blank, 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 blank? It's all about me. With annulment, you change that order, and it's about putting their desires before your desires. So you step on your desires. You don't make them go away, and they will not go away. In fact, they will grow. You'll get more desires for yourself, and you have to apply greater pressure on yourself. And that pressure gets converted in this process by the reforming light. So this is just think of it as Rabash has a great article about it, about zeros and ones. If I see myself, if I see the friend greater than me, I see the friend as 1 and me as 0. He's 10 times greater than me. If I see him, if I make myself a double 0 somehow, then he's 100 times greater than me, and I can receive great influence from him, all the stuff the Creator wants to give me through the friend. And if the reverse is true, if I see myself greater than him, then it's actually, he's a 0 and I'm 1, but the Creator puts a dot in between, so it's 0.1. I'm actually getting a 10th. And if I feel greater than him, even more, I get 100th, and so on and so forth. So maybe that was confusing. The point is, annulment, the friend's desires come before my desires. Where is it? I'm jumping. Okay. Here's Galah. What is the difference between Kabbalistic meditation and other types of meditation? So I'm sorry. So the question is, what is the difference between Kabbalistic meditation and other types of meditation? As I explained, there is no meditation in Kabbalah. Sometimes, as a translation, you'll hear the word meditation, and it refers, for example, to working with a text in the book. But it's not meditating on it. It's working. It's trying to penetrate it, to become one with it, to really connect with the author of the text. Maybe that's the closest to it. But there is no concept of meditation, of let me sit and, according to the dictionary definition, focus on my breath or some other aspect of my body, or defocus and just try to let everything pass through me or above me or around me, or try to create some positive affirmation around me. None of those things, because they don't lead to connection. So as long as meditation is about all those things that happen in me, in my head or in my body or in my consciousness, which is my little circle, nothing to do with Kabbalah. And why do you need it even? You want to discover spirituality. So that's Galaya. Sanctified life. Don't you think meditation can help rewire the synapses from a traumatized person to the process of neuroplasticity? Because meditation every day in some form helps me. Like I said, absolutely, meditation is great. There's a lot of evidence for the positive effects of meditation on different mental states, psychological states, emotional states. Absolutely, just like certain drugs that were recreational, now they see that in microdosing and in certain conditions they can help with traumas and everything. Everything that helps kind of, as you said, rework the synapses, the hang-ups in the brain. Absolutely, it can help. Does it bring you closer to spirituality? No. So if you need to heal yourself, if you need meditation to help you in business and well-being, and do it. Just don't confuse that with spirituality. And I will say more, and this is a general statement to all of you, if you come into the grad environment and you join the young group and everything, you will not see meditation sessions. There's no point in promoting it because it's not part of the method. So that I want to make very clear. Kabbalah has nothing against meditation. You can apply it personally but it has nothing to do with the method of attaining spirituality. What has your experience or experiences been in silence of the presence? Again, these are questions about meditation, and just like Kabbalists explain, you cannot pass experiences. We cannot pass feelings to one another. You have to attain it. That's the beauty of this work. Although it's about connection, it's an individual correction. You correct your connection with the system, and then you attain the system individually according to the root of your soul. And it's unique, and you cannot share that. Just like you can't exactly convey to a person what is a taste you're feeling. Oh, it's tasty, but what is it? I don't know. It's like something that I ate 2 weeks ago, and it's something that I smelled a month ago. You can't convey it. So don't even try. You have to attain everything yourself. Dan is asking, did the Creator create the will to receive, or is it the will to bestow that created the will to receive? Good question. The Creator is what we can speak of, okay? The thing that created us. That's the highest sort of degree that you can reach. But above it is atzmuto, loosely translated as His essence. We can't even talk about that because you have no vessels to attain it, and we can only attain something through equivalence of form. So the Creator that we speak of is the will to bestow, and it created the will to receive, and the will to receive attains it by attaining the form of bestowal. We never change our matter. The will to receive remains. The ego grows and remains, and we love it. It changes its intention, its form. That's the way, that's the trick the Creator made. So He's the will to bestow, I'm the will to receive, but I can become a will to receive in order to bestow, meaning I can receive everything He's giving to me in order to bestow it back to Him. That makes sense. Like eating the food that your old mom is cooking for you, even though it's not that great maybe, but you want to give her pleasure by receiving it. That's kind of a sort of a offhanded example. How much time we have? Okay, we have some time. Let me keep going. Marcelo is asking, how can I find or feel my point in the heart? Do I have to do it with the mind, or is it something out of the mind? Point in the heart is something that you feel. The heart is the seat of desires, of feelings. Not the physical heart, but that's what we call it in Kabbalah. The heart, the seat of desires, the mind, the brain, the seat of the mind and the scrutiny, right? So point in the heart is something you feel. It's a desire that cannot be fulfilled by anything in this world. It's a desire that you cannot fill it with food, sex, family, money, honor, power, knowledge. None of those things will do. That point wants the Creator. That's it's the discovery. It's the feeling of something fundamentally missing, which animals don't have. Only humans have it. We have that missing piece, and only the Creator, the contact with the upper force, can fill that point. So you feel it. If you're here, you probably have it, or you wouldn't spend the time looking and digging and searching the internet for answers and all that stuff, because something doesn't let you calm down. It's that point. Don't try to calm it down, by the way. It's good. Isaac is asking, is man ever really apart from God's Spirit, which is literally inside all? Isn't it man's choice to clear his mind and learn to listen? Those are nice words. In practice, yes, you are part of the Creator. The Creator is part of you, but you have no experience of it. Why? Because you're opposite from Him. And listening to Him, or to it, or to her, whatever you want to call it, won't do you any good, because again, it makes you a passive observer. You get a general sense of wholeness after a lot of practice or a lot of suffering. By the way, if you were put in a prison in tough conditions, you can also get that. If you're a scientist and you really push the limits of your mind, you can also get that. If you watch a few videos by, Alan Watts and Ram Dass, and you can also get that. You can get it. You can kind of get to that conclusion that there is a force playing with us. But to really feel it and to be in contact with it, you have to do the work. You have to get in contact with this upper light. It has to work on you, change you, give you the right intention. That's what's missing. Again, from Isaac, is it better to realize everyone is just like you and love thy neighbor as thyself? Yeah, it's better, but you can't do it by yourself. If you could, you would, but you can't, so you won't. You need a group. You need certain conditions. That's what the the method of Kabbalah is for. Marcelo, can you explain what is the things I see when my eyes are open? What is the reality that we see through our eyes? It's whatever is fed through your will to receive. Abba Salam writes about it in the article, The Freedom, I want to say. You can read about it, and scientists will explain to you. The mind, which is an opposite of the desire, is projecting things for you, like on a big screen in the back of your head. That's what you're seeing. Actually, there's actually more data coming down from your brain to your eyes than data coming in, interestingly, right? Nobody talks about it, but that's what it is. You're hooked up to your will to receive, and it sees the world through that, and you want to change that screen to the will to bestow. You want to change channels, add a channel to your box, basically. Can you explain what sanctified life? Don't you think the group, as you say, is only one facet? It's not about being one facet. It's the only way we have today to reach the Creator in a nice, easygoing manner. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to sit for many hours on your eyes closed or on your head or do all kinds of stuff. You can actually practice these attitudes in the group. It's by the way, and again, that's not to put down Buddhism and the Buddha, but one of the main things the Buddha said to his disciples is to tolerate the unpleasantness of others around them. I'm paraphrasing badly. And that's the one thing that as soon as he was gone, the next generation already eliminated that. And no, we don't have to tolerate them. Let's just go do our thing somewhere else. Okay, nobody wants to do it. It's against our nature. You do this work exactly where it's the most resistance. That's where your will to receive is revealing itself, and that's when you can ask for help. Last question. I'll make it simple. You can't love God without loving His creation, mankind, His image. But how can you love others if you don't even know yourself? Meditation is taking responsibility for you. Again, good, nice words, but who is the you that you are taking responsibility for when you meditate? You're just a point, a dimensionless point. In fact, I'll tell you a secret. There is no one in creation but you and the Creator. Everything you see is your subconscious, spread out all around you. You don't need to meditate and go, spend hours trying to reach different places inside your mind. You can just look around you and see yourself. Killers, murderers, terrorists, rapists, politicians, rich people, poor people, lovely people, beautiful people, celebrities, they're all your desires. You correct those desires and you'll know yourself. And with that, we'll continue to the Zoom, and I will see you in 5 weeks. I hope you had a good time and you learned something about meditation. Join KabU. It's amazing. Come to the ground environment and we can hang out more. And I look forward to see those of you who are members on the Zoom. Thank you and have a great day.